In Atlanta to talk to Alex and Dr. Navarro. Hi, ladies.
And I'll take it again. I've been called worse. Kelly, thanks so much. Mark here with you again. It's something about me and Kelly. She never will toss to me. I think I'm going to start taking it personally. But in any case, Dr. Navarro is here, and you know that what she was referencing is that we could have another storm, except the models are like, I don't know.
It's almost as if they couldn't be more different right now, the two model solutions, because it could basically be another significant system for the Northeast or nothing. Yeah, depending on which model you look at. Hopefully a little more agreement coming together over the coming days, but a lot of the uncertainty is associated with this piece of energy that's going to be moving across the country. There's several pieces of energy associated with this trough, and just exactly how they phase together and how they track is going to make the difference between that significant storm system here developing off the coast.
Or if they phase together at all. I mean, if you look at the European model, which you're about to hear, it doesn't bring those two pieces together at all.
No, right. Notice this is the storm system here coming off the coast. It keeps most of that energy up to the north, and watch what happens to this just right out to sea. Doesn't come close to the coast. Very little impacts here. Maybe a little bit of snowfall associated with the cold temperatures and some wind on the very back edge of that system. But look at the GFS.
That's the same time.
Same time. Completely different solution. But notice this comes much closer to the coast. You get those northeast winds here coming back in, the cold air funneling in. Classic northeast nor'easter setup here. And again, we're only a couple of days out, and these solutions are nowhere near each other. So a lot of uncertainty with the track and the forecast. But the thing they're not uncertain about is the type of precipitation, because those temperatures are going to be cold enough for it to be producing snow. So here's the GFS right now. Notice we paint in these pictures here after Quinn with lots of purple and blue. If you flip on the European model, we're not seeing nearly as much for the coastal areas.
And Mike, we know that all the...
Do what you got to do there in New Orleans. Always an interesting city full of fun people watching. Hey, Dr. Erika Navarro with us again to break down the risk of severe weather this weekend, the when and the why.
Yeah, this one actually looks to be pretty substantial across portions of the South. We've talked a lot about how the instability has been really lacking so far this year. Not the case with this system. We could be seeing some pretty decent instability. So this is our red area to watch all the way from Houston out to the east. Jackson, Mississippi, and New Orleans, of course, included in this threat. If we look at the way the ingredients are coming together, it's as always, the focus is going to be behind this warm front, but lots of moisture associated with this. You can see that southerly flow off the Gulf of Mexico, bringing in that very moist, muggy, gross air here into that situation. But with that moisture, as well as the lift and the cold temperatures aloft in the atmosphere, the instability here is actually pretty decent, above 1,000 joules per kilogram, which is the measure, that convective available potential energy. We have a lot of it here out in the front of this dry line, a very decent dry line here setting up as well. So with the shear coming in, the upper level winds as well as the winds at the surface, we do have the potential for a few isolated tornadoes. We're giving this a 30% chance here within a 50-mile radius in southern Louisiana, and areas farther to the north, a little bit of a better potential in force, pretty decent. You know, I mean, that's almost a 1 in 2 chance of a tornado here.
Well, and Catherine, our weather producer, she also pointed out that this could be one of the bigger, or the first real dry line event of the season, where we go from that very moist air to very dry air, and that's also something that we watch for when doing severe forecasts.
Absolutely, yeah. That contrast is really key. So definitely one to watch this weekend, Saturday into Sunday.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on it.
March snows in portions of the South. It's not very common, but if you look at a place like Nashville, we had a 17-inch snowfall here. This is a one-day total, too, which is just crazy.
Yeah, back in 1892. So like we've said earlier in the week regarding the 1888 storm for the Northeast, not any people around that would remember it, but 1968, 8 inches in one day, and this was late March, March 22nd.
Yeah, so it's not unprecedented for us to get snow, and big snow. I mean, this is a lot for the South, like several inches here, but it hasn't happened in several decades. If you look at some of these totals, looking at Raleigh, it's the same situation. I think the earliest or the most recent is in the 80s. So that was a 7-inch snowfall event, but same thing, a big system here. So I don't think we're talking this potential, but it is, you know, not as uncommon, but we still have not had anything here in the last decade or so.
Yeah, so yet another aspect of this system that we've got to watch as we head into the weekend. Dr. Navarro, thanks. We've got a lot more to come on the show. Thunder snow.